What's the emergency, please?
Welcome back to the You Gotta Laugh podcast. A true miracle will be the topic of discussion tonight on the podcast. And joining me on the podcast tonight will be Terry, aka T Money. T Money, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Edgar, man. I appreciate it.
Okay, Terry, let's pop off. Let's start this. Where are you from originally, and what was it like growing up there?
Well, originally I'm from Brooklyn, and grew up in the Flatbush area, but and it was nice. It was a little rough. It was nice, but my mother felt like we needed something else. My younger brother and myself, so we moved out to Bayshore, Long Island, and we moved out there and stayed out there. She bought a couple of houses, and that was a nice upbringing. But eventually, we winded up in Amityville, where I pretty much spend the rest of my years in elementary school and high school and beyond, and still here now.
Gotcha. Um, as everyone on the podcast knows, I'm from the South Bronx, and then I moved to Central Islip, which is close to Bayshore. So I know Bayshore, Brentwood, CI. Okay, in late
Hmm.
February 2024, Terry Roberts, your son, was struck by a stray bullet.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Can you describe your initial reaction upon hearing the news that Terry had been shot in Philadelphia, and what were those first few hours were like?
Well, it was shocking because what the day that all of this happened, we were just at a game with him. He plays in Nassau Coliseum for the Long Island Nets, which is the Brooklyn Nets G League team. And we came out. It was a Saturday, so we were. It was a lot of support he had there, especially being from Long Island, and he did well in school. So a lot of people followed him. So him being so close to home, he had a lot of support there. So anyway, that day came, and he had one of the best games he's ever had on the team. He got the player of the game. They interviewed him, and it was a great day for us. So my wife and I went home. We felt good about things, and we just it was just a great time. But later that evening, really at night, about one something in the morning, about 1:30 or so, I got a call, and it was from my niece, and it was her telling me that he got shot, and she heard that he got shot in Philly, and my initial reaction was disbelief because
Hmm.
we just thought that he was going. After the game, we spoke and he said he was going to go to one of his coaches' houses that lived in Queens, and they were going to eat and talk about the game and things of that nature. So we kind of thought he was in that neighborhood, more Queens or what have you, with his former coach. And then my wife, she has his location on her phone. So once that was told to us, and we saw his location actually was in Philadelphia, it was overwhelming for a second. We just kind of fell to our knees and just said a prayer. And then after that, the Brooklyn Nets security called my phone, and then the general manager called me, and then it was real then. So it was a little it was very shocking, but at the same time, in those moments, you have to be calm because you have to think and understand what's going on so you could address what's in front of you.
Gotcha. Were you asleep? Were you guys asleep at that time?
Yeah, we were sleeping, and it just so happened that my wife got up to use the bathroom, and the same time that the phone call came into me. So as she was coming back in the room, she just looked at my face, and I guess I had a shocked look on my face. And she said, "What happened?" And I said, "Taylor, who's our niece, just said that Terry got shot in Philadelphia. Somebody just called and told her that." And then, like I said, my wife went to her phone and looked at his location, and his location was in Philadelphia. So, that was very much unexpected because Philadelphia is the last place that we would have thought he would be, seeing that we have no business in Philly, to be honest with you. I've never really been to Philly like that. Neither has he. Um, but after I thought about it, it started to make a little bit more sense to me because I know one of his teammates was from Philly. And I remember a few weeks before, about a month before that, he was telling me that after a game that him and a couple of the guys from the team were going to go to Philadelphia, and I told him then, there's, you don't have no reason to be in Philly. Just kind of hang tight and don't do anything. You don't really need to be going there. So he thought about it and he called me back and said, "Dad, you're right. I'm not going to go." This time he never called me, and then this is what the news I get 1:30 in the morning.